Hello, this is Commander Hugard on here. Welcome to another one of my Elite Dangerous walkthrough videos. This one is about mining. I'm doing another one because a few things have changed since I've done previous ones, and I want to reflect those changes, show people how to do it in a successful way. Now, this is only about laser mining. I'm not going to include core mining because not so much has changed in that, only the Olympic controllers. And the video I did before a couple of years back is probably still quite valid. Only thing is now, instead of mining void opals as it was in a day, it got all nerfed, so it's now other sort of more unusual elements. You have to look them up in the commodities. They've got strange names, road plumbite, God knows what else. So this is just about laser mining, and it's going to be for platinum. And the reason we choose platinum is because that is very plentiful and the most valuable thing you can get. So if you're doing it for money, it's a waste of time mining anything else at the moment. So although this shows you how to mine anything, uh, it's platinum today. I'm going to show you where to go as well. So first of all, let's have a look at the ships and the loadout and take it from there. So first of all, for beginners, you want to use a T6. It's going to cost you 6.6 million. It's not really worth mining in any other ship to start with, unless you got loads of money. Obviously, the next one up is the Python. So you got enough money. I think it's 55 million, something like that, for Python. Then obviously you start in that. But uh, if you haven't got that much, don't waste your time going in a Cobra, Sidewinder, anything like that. Go and shoot a load of pirates or something to earn some money, and then, I mean, you can make 5 million an hour just shooting pirates in a high resource extraction site with some help from police using a Sidewinder. So you only got to be like an hour and a half, and you got enough for your mining ship. This T6 will make about 24 million a trip, and a trip takes probably just over half an hour. So you're looking about, I don't know, 40 million an hour, something like that, uh, mining platinum. So I'm going to go through the modules first of all, as if you don't know anything about mining, and I'll explain why you need them and what they do and everything like that. So you'll have a good understanding of it. So first of all, the detailed surface scanner. You need that to find the hotspots. So you fly to a planet with rings, fire a probe into the rings, and the probes show where the hotspots are, and then you go to the hotspot and mine there. Now, once you've found the hotspots, you don't need to fire any more probes. So you might think you don't need to keep the detailed surface scanner. You can put something else there, but you can't. If you don't have the detailed surface scanner on board, mysteriously the hotspots disappear. So you don't have to fire a probe every time, but next time you go back, if you've got the detailed surface scanner, they'll show as if you've probed them. But if you haven't, they won't show and you won't know where to mine. So you definitely need that all the time, except when you're mining in a hazardous resource extraction site, which I'm going to show you later for advanced mining technique. Now, I'm going to divide the video into two parts. First one for beginners, second one for more advanced stuff using the Python in various places. Right, next one, you need prospect Olympic controller. And what that does, when you choose a rock that you think is suitable for mining, I'll explain all that in the later on. You fire a prospector limpet at it, and the limpet will tell you exactly what's in it. So if it's got no platinum or not enough platinum, you go to another rock. If it's got enough platinum, you start mining it. Now, additionally, not only does it show you what's in the rock, but by magic, it increases the yield of the rock. So without prospector limpets, even if you had the same rock, you get much less out of it. I think it's half. Certainly looks a lot more than half, but you only get half the number of fragments come out the rock, and so you need a prospector limpets to mine efficiently. Next thing, uh, you need mining lasers to mine the fragments out of the rocks. So you fire the lasers and all these little white blobs come out the rocks and hang around, and then you use collector limpets to hoover them up. And here I've got the 3C multi-limpet controller that you can buy from anywhere that sells collector limpet controllers. So it's fairly new, so some of the search things don't show it, but if you just put in 3A collector limpet, they've, as far as I've seen, they've always got these there. So that's the one you want. The reason you want this particular one is because it has 4 collector limpets, whereas a normal 3A one has 2. This one can be used as a prospector as well by using different fire groups, but you don't need to. This is the way I would do it. And I don't know whether it's possible. I haven't tried it, but in theory, you might be able to get 2 prospectors, one from each, if you set up your fire groups right. But a bit of messing about. So just stick with what I'm going to show you. It'll be nice and straightforward. But if you want to have a go, experiment with that later when you've figured it all out, then good luck to you. So the collector limpets hoover them up, bring them to the ship, and put them in the refinery. So you need a refinery, and what the refinery does is it converts the fragments into stuff that you can sell and puts them into the cargo rack ready to sell. So that's the essential mining equipment. But the refinery, question is, they all come in different sizes and grades. The only difference is the number of bins. And what you've got to imagine is that, first of all, we're only refining platinum. So in theory, you only need 1 bin. And when I'm mining in my cutter, I use a 1A refinery with only 4 bins. You only need 1, but what the hell. So you don't need. I've heard people say in their videos, their tutorials, "Oh, get the biggest one you can." That's absolute nonsense, because you only mine one thing at a time. That's platinum, and so you only need, in theory, 1 bin. But the other thing a refinery does is each bin, when full, counts as a ton of thing. It converts it into a ton of cargo. But when you filled up all your cargo space, the refinery will carry on filling up. So you'll end up, if you carry on mining after everything's full, you end up with 6 bins full up with the stuff ready to convert. But it can't convert it because all the cargo racks are full. But when you sell the stuff from your cargo racks in the station, this, whatever's in the refinery, will then jump into the cargo rack, and you can sell that as well. So it works as actually additional storage. So 6 bins is 6 tons. So if you look up here, we've got 80 tons of cargo, but it isn't 80. If you fill up your refinery as well, it's 86 tons. Just, every little helps in terms of your overall efficiency. I'm going to show you how to do that later. So one other thing that's useful is the heatsink launcher, just in case you come face to face with some pirates, got to run away from them. You boost away, and if they're shooting you, you can drop a heatsink, and it breaks their target lock. So it gives you some protection against their incoming fire. And this ship can boost very frequently and very fast. So it doesn't take long before you're clear of the distance the damage their weapons can do. So it makes it very safe. So it just gives you, it's like firing chaff, but better. So I always, any ship, trading ship, mining ship, anything like that, I always fit a heatsink launcher. It's much more useful than chaff. Right, so the other stuff, you're basically maxed out. You want lightweight life support, lightweight sensors, but all the other things are the maximum. So as a general rule in a mining ship, what you're looking for is the best lasers you can get to extract as many fragments as you can, as quick as you can. Then you need as many collector limpets as you can to hoover them up very quickly. And now these things have to be at least in balance. If you've got loads of mining lasers and not enough collector limpets, you're wasting your time, because the fragments will just hang about in space, gradually spreading out, and it'll take longer and longer for the collector limpets to collect them up. So the idea is you want to balance these two things, so that you've got the right number of collector limpets for the right number of fragments you bring out. As a general rule, you need 3 collector limpets for each class 2 mining laser, and 2 class 1s equal class 2. So the ideal number of limpets for this would be 3, but we could only have 2 or 4. So we're going to go for 4 because that's better than 2. Two's not enough. It would slow us down. But sometimes some rocks with high yield, four are kept busy. So the other times you'll see one of the 4 always idle, but it doesn't matter. At least you've got it. Um, so there, that's quite important on any mining ship. So when you get your cutter and you've got like loads of lasers, you're going to need loads of limpets as well. So you can't just, that brings me to the next thing. You also want loads of cargo, and because the more cargo you got, the longer you can stay there and mine. So it cuts down the ratio of idle, like traveling time to mining time. So overall, you get more money the more cargo you've got. But the same thing, if you've got too much cargo and not enough space for collector limpets, then it's going to slow you down. So you need 3 things in balance all the time. The next thing, very, very important, which a lot of people don't understand, is that the power distributor is bringing the power to the mining lasers. So if you look at these two, 1.5 megawatts, 1.5 equals 3, and the power distributor here is delivering 2.8. That's not quite enough. But what happens is the power distributor fills up the capacitor before you start, and then as you get to each rock, as you're mining, the capacitor's going down slowly at the rate of 2.2 megawatts. That is quite slow. And then eventually it'll get to the bottom, but you've mined the rock before it gets there normally with this ship. And then while you're traveling to the next rock, it fills back up again. So even though you haven't got enough power, you don't actually run out of power. Now, what happens if you, in another ship, if you had an extra mining laser and the same power, the distributor would go, the capacitor will run down before you've emptied the rock, and when it gets to empty, the ship will immediately overheat. So um, it becomes very, you've got to concentrate. You can fire the lasers in short bursts all the time, but then you're not gaining anything because you've got more lasers to mine quicker, but you have to keep stopping. So that doesn't really make sense. So all these things have to be balanced out very, very carefully. But as a general rule, you can allow the power of your lasers to be slightly higher, but not a lot more than what your power distributor can give. And later on, we'll get into engineering now, how to you know solve all those problems. But this is the simple version. So these are the simple rules: enough power for your mining lasers, enough limpets to laser up at the same speed as your mining, or the right number of limpets, not enough, uh, and then enough cargo is more most cargo space you can have with having the right number of limpets, and that's it. It is actually better to have 2 prospectors. You don't need any more than that. So a class 3 would be ideal, but we in this ship we don't have room for it. So that's outfitting in a nutshell. I'm going to go through it again later in the Python and show you how the different things there help you. So what we want to do now is go out to the right place and mine. Now I'm going to make it easy for you. What you want to do is go to exactly the place I tell you. It's been proven very reliable. I've been using it for years. It always yields loads of platinum. And where is it? Here it is. High aid sector, DBX, D1 dash 112. So because I've been there before, I've got the information on it, and I'll show you which planet it is. Come on. Didn't want to give me the system information. So this is the planet. It's planet number 1. It's 2,300 light seconds from the star, so a little bit travel there. And you're going to be mining the inner ring. So that is where you get your platinum. There's uh, there's tools. I'm going to show you the tool later when we come to selling the stuff, which will show you other places to mine. You can try those out if you want and figure out whether they're any better. I've tried a few of them, but I've never found them better than this place, even though mysteriously this place isn't even on the list. So even when you're standing next to it, it still doesn't tell you that you can mine here. But I can assure you this is a good place for platinum. And then later on, when I come to the advanced stuff, I'll show you another place that's even better, but that you need a special technique for that. So you need to practice first of all on this, and then later on, when you've got the hang of it, have a look at the next video, and then do that. Right, so let's get out there and see what we have to do. Right, before you go, um, you're going to need your limpets. Now, don't forget those. It's very easy to do that. Um, you find them in advanced maintenance and then restock. So there they are. Uh, so in a T6, probably want about 70. You can throw away, uh, if you've got too many, you can always dump some, but if you haven't got enough, you can't mine. So for the T6, I would take about 70. We'll see how that works out. So let's just talk about that while I'm here. Uh, Galaxy map. So this is where we're mining, and this place here, Nungogambo, is the nearest station that has limpets, as far as I can figure it out. But it's only an outpost. But that works for the T6 and the Python. Won't work for a cutter. You have to go somewhere else for that. Um, Now this place only has small stations, outposts, and no shipyards. So no outfittings. What I mean, sorry. So when you're going to travel a long way to sell the stuff, now at the moment there's a couple of good markets close enough that you can just go straight to them. They're about 55 light years away. But if you had to go, say, 110 light years or something to get a good price to sell your stuff, you're going to need a fuel scoop to get there. So what you can do is buy a fuel scoop and store it. And this is the nearest place where it has outfitting, Gurabru. So what you would do is you would um, if if you got access to one, you'd get a Guardian frameshift drive booster as well and a fuel scoop. Store them here, and at the end of your mining, this works in the Python as well as the T6. At the end of your mining, you come here, swap your two collector limpets for that fuel scoop and the Guardian frameshift drive booster, go to where it is you're going to sell, because that'll give you a range of about 200 light. Well, you got infinite range with a fuel scoop, so a nice big class 5 fuel scoop, something like that. And then you sell the stuff, and then you come back, swap your modules over, get your limpets, and then back to mining again. Because it also, carrying the limpets a long way, the weight of them cuts down your jump range as well. So although it sounds like extra messing about, if you've got to go 200 light years to sell the stuff, it's quicker to do this, to park up those modules. It doesn't have to be this station. See if you can find your own one where you want to do it. There's a few stations around it, all within one jump. I just checked out those two when I was just looking around. So that's where we're going to mine, high aid sector, but we always need limpets. And so when the selling is like 55 light years away, um, yeah, it's feasible to fill up with limpets, and then after you've sold the stuff, and then come back. It won't slow you down that much. It might be one extra jump or something, so it's a minute. But by the time you've been to a separate station, landed, got the limpets, and then got it, it's going to take more than a minute. So, but you can't always guarantee that there's going to be a decent market within, uh, a few jumps of the place. But there is right at this moment. So make hay while the sun shines. So what we do now, I've got my limpets. Now I can go off to the mining. Right, here we are. We've arrived at the planet and we're ready to use our detailed surface scanner. Now I've already been here and done it, so the hotspots are already showing. But when you come, the rings will just be plain. So sort of like that. So you have to be in, first of all, I think you have to be in the discovery mode, which is the blue one. Not too sure about that because I think it might go in automatically. But anyway, whatever. Go into this just to be sure. And the way it works is you've got these inner rings here, that white bit from there to there, and then the outer ring that's from there to the edge. And they have different things in them, the different rings. So some planets have 3 rings. So many have one. This one has 2, and we know from experience that the hotspots in the inner ring. And so, a couple of things before we start. I just want to do the key bindings. So let's have a look at those. You need key bindings for the detailed surface scanner, and I use the mouse for that, and it's right down the bottom here. So it's pretty simple. By default, these are normally off. So you just set that to yaw and that to pitch. And this one here is the sensitivity. It's how fast your cursor moves around the screen. If it's too fast, you can slow it down a bit. It was a bit too fast last time I checked it, so let's just try that. And you don't need to use any of these other things. So there is a button in mode switches further up to enter FSS mode. You don't need one for that. Neither do you need one to leave. So in this case, it's set on the keyboard to backspace, but you don't have to use that. I'll show you why in a minute. And I think these ones are if you want to use joystick. So that's your pitch and yaw. I'm not too sure because I always use the mouse. You can have a play with that and see what it does. But these are the important ones. As long as you've got a pitch and a yaw and the sensitivity, that's all you need for this. So the detailed surface scan is also used to scan planets, and you do need some additional features for them, like this toggle back front and back view. But we don't need to do that for this. So we'll save that for another time. So I didn't change anything, did I? Cancel. Confirm. Back to the game menu. Next thing, key bindings. Not key bindings, fire groups. So let's have a look at these. So what you want basically is the prospector on trigger in your main fire group, prospector on trigger 2, and all the other things. So it's mining lasers and collectors on trigger 1. Now down the bottom there, just while I've run it here, the multi-limpet controller can do both, can do prospector and collector. And if I hadn't got a separate prospector limpet, I would set that to 2 there. When I fire trigger 2, it would make a prospector limpet, and when I fire trigger 1, it would make a collector limpet. Now, I've never used that. I've never had a reason to, and I think there are some downsides to that. So as we got room for a prospector, and on other ships, you're always going to need a class 2, uh, uh, class 3 prospector limpet. So this is why I've never used that. But it might be possible on this ship if you're interested. If you set this one to well, you can have another fire group, let's say, with the prospector on one and the other prospector up here on trigger. Well, no, put that one on trigger 2 and that one on trigger 1, say. And what you might be able to do then is you fire 2 separate prospectors, have 2 on the go all the time. There is an advantage in that, but I haven't tried that, so I can't say. So I'm gonna leave that for now. But if you're interested and you're interested in those sort of things, you can have a go at that. Otherwise, just do it like I said. So the surface scanner needs to be in a separate fire group. So I'll just got it on trigger 1 in fire group, second one B. So we need a button for changing fire groups as well. So here we are. So we're ready to go. So I'm looking at the planet now, and what will happen if you look bottom right at the HUD where it says surface scanner, that will say something like out of range if you're too far away. So you just fly close enough until that's within range. So it'll say surface scanner then. Right, let's have a look at it then. So we're going to have to enter detailed surface scanner mode, and rather than need a button for it, if you just pull the trigger, because it's on trigger 1, it just goes into the mode automatically. So why do you need a button for it? I've never figured that one out. Anyway, there you go. So let's have a look at how it works now. So you've got this weird line thing coming from the center of the planet, wherever you point, and it's for firing probes at the planet or into the rings. So if you look at the where the cursor is exactly now, I've got it on the edge of the planet there, and then as I come a bit further, see those funny lines there, those dashes, dash and two dots. That marks where you fire the probe to get right on the edge of the planet. Because what happens is the gravity of the planet makes the probes curve in. So if I aim exactly at those lines where they are, the probe will land right on the tangent of the planet. And when you're firing probes to map a planet, that's important because you need to spread them out. You need one round the back, one on the top, one on the bottom, one at the side, one at the front, sort of like that. But we're not doing that, so you don't need to bother about that. But as we watch the cursor again, now the word ring has appeared when I get to just there. So what happened there is if I fire the probe there, it will come exactly on the very inner edge of the inner ring. And as I go out, it's gone miss. So that's just going to fire into space. When I get to there, it's going to fire onto the outer edge of the ring and anywhere in between here. But I need to get one in the inner ring. So what I need to do is just go to ring. Oops, keep jumping. And a little bit more, say there. And then you fire the probe and you see that little rocket thing there go in. And it should land in the middle of the ring now. And what would happen is the first time you come, the rings will be plain and you see like windscreen wipers go round and then suddenly the spots will appear. But when you're in this DSS mode, you can see the spots, but you can't see what they are. You only see those in normal discovery mode. So rather than have a button to leave discovery mode, because it's another button, what I do, I just switch to combat mode and switch back again. And that's it. Now what happens is when I put my cursor on the rings, on the spots, it tells you what's in them. Monzonite, road plumsite. We're looking for platinum, and there it is. So there's two platinum hotspots. There's that tiny little one there, that dot, and oops, that one there, platinum. So that's the one we want, the bigger of the two. So when you look at these, when you come, you look for that group of three, two like that with a dot sort of next to them. There is another dot somewhere. There's a couple of dots over this side. It's not those ones. Just look at that pattern. That's where you're aiming for. Now, the second time you come, you don't have to fire probes. It'll look just like that as you're approaching, as long as you're in the discovery mode. If you're in combat mode, they show up like that. You can hardly see them. So go. You need the discovery mode for mining anyway. So that's it. Now all we've got to do is fly in and start mining. So the planet's going to slow us a little bit down. It's better to come in at an angle. Next time you come, you'll know where it is. Come in at sort of 45 degrees angle so you don't get too close to the planet. So the idea is, don't use too much throttle. Stick to the blue zone at first, which is 75% throttle. Probably go a bit more because I can feel the planet slowing me down. And then as you get closer, just reduce it. You don't want to go right in the middle, and you want to ideally go in a slightly different spot each time. So I'm going on the side away from the planet, so just throttling back now and slow down. So you can see the distance I'm away. It's not important because that's covering many kilometers. But you don't want to go, when you go back, you don't want to go to the spot you've already mined out. So it does take a while. I think it's a couple of hours for the rocks to replenish. So just bit by bit, just nudging the throttle. I've stopped there. You're still going forward, and it'll just go in nice and gently. If you're going too fast, just goes with a bang, and you lose 1% hull. So it's not a big deal. You can just go in at full speed if you want. Next thing, switch on your night vision. You find it under ship. Second one down there. I've already got it on, so there it is. And what will happen is NPCs will come, and normally pirates. So let's just see what happens. It's not guaranteed. Sometimes none come, occasionally. So whether it's going to be like that now. Often they come when you reach the first rock. So doesn't mean that none's coming at the moment, but normally some would be here by now. They're normally pretty quick, but occasionally they don't come until you're ready to mine, just to try and catch you out. I'm just doing this to show you because there's another, the actual technique that you should use avoids all this. But no, this doesn't look like pirates are coming. I bet if we fire a prospector, one will turn up. So they come within the first minute or something, and you have two choices basically. You can just now, like, especially if you're having like long mining sessions in a gutter or Python or whatever, you can go and make a cup of tea or catch up with your emails or something. Come back about 5 minutes later, and the pirates will be gone. So you can get miners, the NPCs. You can get a miner who'll just be busy mining. You can get a pirate on its own. You can get groups of pirates. Also, it's different every time. Somebody's come now. That was quite lame. And let's have a look, see if it's pirates. So you can see what you're up against. So if we'd have started mining, so there were no pirates coming, we'd be in trouble. So actually, that's a miner, and there's somebody behind him as well. So we boost over there and have a look. So he could be in a wing of two. It says one, or that might have been his fragment that you're seeing. Yeah, that was a mining fragment that he's pulled out. So it's pretty clear at the moment. But normally, what you would do, like if you don't want to go and have a cup of tea, just keep boosting. So you'll see the pirates on your radar. Just keep boosting and boosting and boosting for a minute or so, so they're well off your radar, and then they won't bother you again. So normally, the first thing when you come in, just boost, 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 boost away from where you came in, and you won't even see the pirates. So I'll just go a couple more just to make sure. And this ship can boost quite frequently. It's quite a fast ship as well. So if you're in a T9, it's going to take forever to get away from the pirates, especially if they start coming after you. You can't outrun them in a T9, so you're going to be trying to get away forever. Right, so that'll do. So I'm now ready to mine the rocks. So I'm in the fight fire group. Show at the moment. Let's have a look. That's the fight fire group. Mining lasers, collectors, prospector. Right, so we need to find some suitable rocks, and what you're looking for is slow-moving rocks, because when they're spinning, they trap the fragments. Well, they do two things. The fragments get caught in the crevices, and then your limpets can't get them. They try, but they bash into the rock and expire each time, and very quickly you run out of limpets. So you don't really want that. Round rocks, or smoothest rocks, without jaggedy bits, like this one I'm pointing at now. Uh, that's fine. It doesn't matter if they're spinning because there isn't really anything to trap the limpets. But the other thing that the irregular shaped rocks do is when the fragments come out, they'll knock them sideways. And when you're mining in a Python or cutter, you want all the limpets to stay close. It's very quick then to hoover them all up. But if they like all spread out all over the place, it quadruples your time to collect them. So this one looks suitable. It's fairly slow moving, and it's roundish, and it's small. So just fire a limpet at it, and let's see what's in it. So target the limpet. Gallite. It's not what we want. This big one here is probably about. You don't want anything much worse than that. It's quite slow moving, so it should be all right. It's a little bit irregular, and you don't want it to go much faster than that. So he's got 35%. That's worth mining. So all we now do, you've got to be careful because this one is a regular shape. So if you can choose a bit like where it's a bit narrow. So if I go to this end, especially if you can get on the axis of rotation, it won't clout you in the face so much. So you just come nice and close, pull the trigger, hold the trigger, and let the collectors do their job. Oh, sorry, pips. You want 4 pips to weapons and 1 to each of the others. And then open up your cargo hatch so that the limpets can bring the stuff in. Now when you look, we've got 4 limpets, and yeah, 3 of them are looking busy. The other one, as I said, oh, it's just done something. So yeah, 4 is giving advantage over 3. That third one only occasionally picks up a fragment, but at least you know it's doing something. So when you got a bigger ship, all the limpet's going to be busy. So now then, just to explain what was going on, when I targeted the limpet after it landed on the rock, the prospector, on the bottom left comes all the information. You see material content medium. That's not anything to do with the platinum. It's the other stuff, the engineering materials that's in the rock. So you get like iron and phosphorus and other things. It's what comes out there. So you're going to be collecting that stuff out, and later on you can use it for your engineers. But you don't get any money for it. It's not part of mining. At the top there, you can see what percentages of stuff is left in the rock. So we're 60% of the way through now because there's 40% left. So just keep going until that comes to 0, and it'll say the rock's depleted. So the next one down, platinum, 35%. That's, you always get the same, well, more or less the same number of fragments. It's a bit more complicated than that, but you get the same, roughly the same number of fragments. So, but the 35% is how much platinum's in each fragment. So obviously, so basically 3 fragments is going to give me a ton. So I'm getting quite a lot at the moment. But you don't want to mine much below, say, 25%. Now, the other stuff, it's also collecting up bertrandite and gallite is in the rocks as well. So what you have to do is in your contacts, see where you got the fragment there. It's gone now because I've collected it. You have to target one of those and add it to the ignore list. So let's see if did I actually refine any. So when I look at my inventory, yeah, I've got bertrandite there. So what I can do, I can abandon that. Oh, both of them I want to do. So, and then you'll see them here. So from there, I'll just come to here, add bertrandite to the ignore list, and it won't pick it up again. Now the problem is when doing it when you're mining, this list jumps about all over the place, and it's like whack-a-mole. By the time you've got the thing selected like that, and you try and get over here to add it to the thing, it's already gone. And then you try and get the next one. But there is a way around that. Just let your limpets collect up some fragments, and then close your cargo hatch, and it'll park them outside because they can't get in. And then they'll be stationary in the list. Then you can select them, add them to the list, and that'll be it. So bit by bit during the session, you need to get all those materials other than platinum and osmium onto the ignore list. Okay, so we've mined our first rock, and now we need some more. So you need to go in the same direction all the time, so you don't end up going around in circles and going over the rocks that you've already been to. So the way to do that is to go to navigation, choose any mark, any of these ones, doesn't matter. Just select one, and that'll give you a marker now. There it is on the mini radar. So generally, just go towards that. As long as that dot on a mini radar is white and not hollow, then you know you're going in roughly the same direction. So let's have a look for some more rocks. There's a nice one up there. So these little ones up in the sky, away from the others, are often good. So with this ship, we can only fire 1 limpet at a time. Whereas in a Python, you can fire 1, and then already I'd be pointing at the next rock and firing the limpet. So I've always got 2 on the go at the same time. So it just saves a lot of time. The other thing, especially when it's night time like this, it's difficult to tell whether a rock is is small and close or big and far away. But when you're flying through them, if you look at the ones at the edge, look at that one just to the right now, you can see it moving faster than the others. So that means it's close. So, and it's a round one. So that's going to be my next target. So that marker has gone slightly hollow now. So I'm going at more or less right angles to the direction I should be going. So after this, I need to turn to the left. So that hasn't got any platinum either. So I need to go this direction. Let's have a look down here.
Asteroid scan complete.
That one just looks a little bit on the regular side. That one looks good.
Programming limpet
Hopefully it's
drone.
not too far away.
Prospect to limpet failed.
So you target the limpet as soon as it's in front of the ship and then wait for it to land. So I got that one on to the left, stationary. Looks quite good as well. If that one's got none in. So that's got 45% plan, but I want to check this one out as well. Now, when I fire this one, the information on the other one will go, but I'm going to remember where it is.
Programming limpet drone.
So sometimes it's good to have a good memory or keep the thing in sight. I had a feeling 66 platinum, bingo, that's the maximum. So I'm remembering where that other one is. And you've got to be careful not to roll your ship, because then it's not where you think it is. So, because I've got that hotspot road plumsite one there, I just got to keep that stationary on the screen. I know I'm not rolling. But it's very easy to start rolling your ship with the rock, because you lose point of reference. If you see what I mean, when the rock's filling up your whole screen, it's very easy if you're using a joystick to start rolling with the rock. So, a limpet expired for some reason. Let's try and get a bit more to the front. Because this rock is spinning quite fast. I've got to get that. Where's that marker gone? I've rolled now. There it is. So it was about there. So it's that rock just above it and to the left of it. So we're at 59% down. It'll be interesting to see how much we get out of this one. So what we had a cargo capacity of 80 tons, and already we got 17 tons. So you can see we're doing quite well. It takes, once you've got the hang of it, 20 to 30 minutes to fill up, depending whether you get good rocks or not. Hello, why is there nothing coming out? Oh, it's just having a break. The closer you are to the rock, the shorter the distance the collectors have to bring the stuff in. If you get too far away, they can't keep up. So the cargo bay's full now, and that's because I've got a load of limpets. So I've got to dump some of these now. So what we're going to do, not that many, let's do 10. So that'll make room now. I've lost my mark again, haven't I? There it is. I remembered where it was. And so the combination of limpets and platinum and filled up the cargo hold. Once that's full, then the refinery will start filling up. When that's full, you can't collect any more stuff. So what you do, you take too many limpets and then just get rid of some from time to time, not too many, because you can, like, with this ship, it's not so bad with a Python or a cutter, but with this ship, it's very easy. You can get 10 rocks in a row with no platinum in, and then you've used up all your limpets, and you then go back 10 tons short. So it's depleted now, so we've got everything, and it was that rock there. Now I don't need to fire, or was it that one? One of those two. I'm going to have to fire a limpet after all. Doesn't matter because I've got loads. It was that one or the one on the right. It was that one. I'm going to do this one just in case. Might have two rocks.
Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet failed.
Oh, that's got, it could be neither of them. They both got 45. So now I've got to remember where the other rock is.
Asteroid scan complete.
So you got the hang of it now. There isn't a lot more to it. When you're moving between the rocks, these are quite spread out in this bit here, but they can be quite close together. use your thrusters, go up and down and left and right rather than pitch roll and yaw. Um, and one thing you mustn't do is brush your belly on a rock because as you're flying over a rock, your limpets are going to be hanging around underneath where your cargo hatch is, and if you brush a rock, it wipes them all out. So you don't really want to do that. Again, not so critical in this because you only got 4, but in other ships, you can wipe out a lot of limpets like that. So yeah, it's always better to keep your direction by using pitch your side thrusters to go sideways and your up and down to go up and down. You can use the other ones as well, especially if you're in an open space. It's not the end of the world, but it's a good habit to get into because that's how you move between the rocks. And also, yeah, another thing is when you've mined the rock,
Cargo hold at
oh,
maximum
it's full
capacity.
again, so I've got to dump some more limpets. So do another 10. I was going to say, yeah, when the limpets are still collecting, you must never
Asteroid depleted.
let them lose line of sight of the fragments. It's still collecting. So once they've all collected, or the last limpet's got the last fragment, you can then move on to the next one. See, I moved sideways anyway, rather than turning round, because um, if a rock gets between the limpet and you, it can't manage it. They bash into the rocks and expire. And so you start losing limpets like that as well. So you must always keep the limpets between you, sorry, the fragments between you and the rock, and then the limpets can get them. You'll notice that if you just look
Programming
on the
limpet
radar,
drone. Collector limpet
you'll just see
expired.
the collectors just going straight forwards and backwards all the time. And that's how you want it. Now, be, what happened was I did fire a prospector limpet at this rock. Um, Once you've landed the limpet, it keeps its properties. So you don't need to have one there. So that depleted that you're seeing on the bottom left now is for the other rock. So the only way I know when this one's depleted is when no more fragments come out of it now, because I've got no prospector on it. And it'd be a waste of a limpet putting another one on there because I know what's in it, 45% platinum, and I'm going to know when it's empty because no more fragments are going to come. That's as simple as that. So this rock is slightly oval, so I'm going to go closer for a bit. But I've got to be careful that it doesn't start wiping the nose on it when the wider bit starts coming. So I'm just moving back slightly now. It's always the closer the better. It doesn't affect your lasers, but it does affect the time to collect. I know I seem to have got, the limpets not being overworked at the moment. So that's about it for the mining. So it's just carry on. And what I'll do, I'll show you at
Cargo
the end
hold at maximum
how to deal
capacity.
with the
Programming limpet drone.
uh,
Collector limpet
filling up the
expired.
refinery. So time to dump some more limpets. So this time I
Cargo
don't want to
hold
do so
at
many
maximum
because I don't want to end
capacity.
up with no limpets at the end. You'll see what I mean later. So I'll do 7 this time. So it's still coming. Yeah, so if you look at your materials list, I mean, you'll see it at the top right. Um, oh, it looks like I got the last one. That's finished now. You'll see odd materials come in there. So that's going to be the next rock.
Programming limpet drone.
And you see, like now, there's a few clustered
Prospector
around
limpet
it. So it's
failed.
quite important that you don't brush your limpets on those as you go through. As you're manoeuvring from one rock to the next. It's quite good when it's like this. Like
Prospector
dawn and
limpet
dusk,
engaged.
the rocks show up really nicely.
Programming
The
limpet drone.
darker ones are the
Asteroid
closer
scan
ones.
complete. Prospector limpet failed.
So at night time, they're all the same colour, and you just can't tell how far away they are. So that one there looks promising, but it's difficult to tell.
Prospect
So
limpet
that had
engaged.
14% osmium in it.
Programming limpet drone.
So if you do end up with one with a lot of platinum in and you find out it's not quite the right shape for mining, go round and get on the axis of it, mining as if you're pointing up the axis of rotation.
Prospect
It's
limpet
got 18%,
engaged.
it's not enough. So we got one up there and that one there.
Asteroid scan complete. Programming limpet drone.
One to the, actually the one to the
Prospect limpet failed.
left, just going off the left of the screen looks quite good as well. So it takes a bit of practice to get used to which rocks you should mine, but it doesn't take long to get the hang of it.
Prospect
So
limpet
37%
engaged.
osmium, that's worth having. Osmium's worth nearly as much as platinum. You get
Asteroid
about
scan complete.
270, or 280 for platinum. Sorry, that's thousands. So quarter of a million roughly. And osmium is about 250. But normally the people giving good price for platinum are giving a good price for osmium as well, but not always. So it is a bit of a gamble taking osmium, but generally it works out okay. So I'd recommend it, especially if you're using a fleet carrier, because you just load all the stuff onto your fleet carrier, and then you can sell them separately. Take your fleet carrier to where you get the best price for platinum, and then shift it to somewhere to get best
Programming
price for
limpet
osmium.
drone. Collector
So when you're
limpet expired.
selling thousands of tons at a time.
Programming limpet drone.
Right, when you get down to say 10 limpets left, you can always see how many you got by looking where it says prospector on the HUD. You want to, instead of dumping limpets when it says cargo full, wait until you see resources unallocated.
Collector limpet
I think
expired.
like that.
Cargo hold at
And
maximum
then what that
capacity.
means is that your refinery is full up. So come to the second one down, that's that one. Chuck out anything you don't want. Like it's picked up this stuff I had on the list. And what you'll see is it's going to start filling that up again now. So this rock has only got platinum in it. So I carry on mining it. I've got one limpet left now. So don't forget, limpets can expire at any time. So that might replenish itself. And what you want to do on the last rock, sort of, or when you get near the end, sort of stand next to it and then send the last few prospectors out to other rocks until you find another good one to mine. So you're sort of guaranteed to fill up. So I've got one limpet left. I've got a rock bagged already. That's full, but I've got a limpet left. So now need to go back up to this one. Get rid of that last limpet. Abandon. So it looks like I'm going to fill up here by the looks of it. But if you see on my radar, I've got the actual prospector on another rock, and it's got 33% in it. So this one had 45%. Looks like this one's finished now. So let's have a look at my refinery now. So my cargo's full, but I want to fill up that refinery as well. And I've still got a bin not full there. So I'm just going to go over to the other rock and get the last few fragments. That way you fill up the whole refinery and your cargo, so you get that extra 6 tons. So on a small ship, that's worth it. So it's going to be worth 1.5 million, and it takes no time. So now I've got resources unallocated. I've got no limpets left, so my cargo's full, my refinery's full, and the only thing in the refinery is platinum. Oh no, I'm not full yet. Why is that? Oh right, what's happened is it's picked up some gallite, and the gallite's parked outside. So what you do, with that selected like that, you just select it, press the button, and it ejects that, and now the platinum can come in again. So it looks like I just need a couple more fragments.
Collector limpet expired.
So one limpet's gone, so I'm down to 3 now. That's it. Now that I've got that, I'm completely full. So I'm ready to go and sell the stuff now. So let's move away. We can close our cargo
Limpet
hatch.
zone error.
You're going to get this
Avoid
error
cargo
message
hatch.
because the
Cargo
limpets are
stable.
holding fragments they want to
Attracting.
bring in, but there's no space for them. So boost out at right angles. So now we're going to put our pips back to engines again now. Oops. That's it. Now, when you're traveling with cargo, whatever you're doing, or even when you're running missions or anything like that, carrying cargo, hauling, or mining, anything like that, whenever you're traveling, you should always fly with 2 pips to systems and 4 to engines. And that's just in case you get pulled out, and that's going to give you the maximum escape speed. And speed is more important than strength. You're not going to shoot anything,
Collector
so
limpet
you don't need any
expired.
on the weapons, but some people say, oh, you should do it with 4 pips to shields because it'll, you can tank the fire better. But that slows you down. And the problem is, all the time you're in the firing range, you're getting shot. But if you can boost out of the firing range, you don't get shot. So I say it's better to have uh, speed rather than shielding. So four pips to engines, 4 pips to systems. I've been doing it for donkey's years. It's always worked for me, so I recommend you do it as well. Whatever anybody else says. Right. So now we need to figure out where we're going to go to sell the stuff. So normally you'd have all this done beforehand, but let's have a look. So we've got this tool. It's called eddtools.cc. If you just type into Google ed tools, it'll come up. And this is the miner tool. So you've got all these other ones here. It tells you all sorts of things. If you're looking for particular things, you've got the old road to riches. So that tells you where all the high value planets are for planet scanning. You got the miners tool, which is what we're using here. You can find selenium, pirate massacre missions, where to go for those, and uh, where resource extraction sites are if you want to go there. There's all sorts of things here. So have a play with that. It's a really useful tool to have. But we're using it for the uh, mining. So just click on the miners tool. And so if if you're starting to mine platinum, you could just click on that and you put them where you are. That's one jump away from here, so that's good enough. So it's telling me the places to mine are these systems and these rings, and then this is where you're going to sell the stuff and the price you're going to get for it and everything. So everything's done for you. But you'll notice mysteriously, like I'm one jump away from that, and it's not telling you to come here. But this is a really good place for platinum, as you see. Nearly every other rock had it in, and a lot of it. Well, I don't know what these ones are like. Maybe they're better, but the one I did try a couple one time, but I didn't have any luck with them really. So just come to where I'm telling you. And seriously, you can find this one under Paynite, but I didn't see a lot of Paynite there. Actually, no, because that's the old Paynite one. Yeah, that's the Planet 2. We're in Planet 1. So that's the one, top of the Paynite list, as you can see, where this place is 8 light years away. So, but going back to Platinum, so we're not so much interested in where to go because we know where to go. We've come to this hit, whatever it was, but we want to know where to go to sell. So you come down here. Now this is telling you where to get a good price. So you can see the price is 285 there, but it's 115 light years away. This one's only 55 and it's 277. Well, the problem is we've only got enough jump range to do loaded about 99 light years. So that means any of these ones we can go to. Otherwise, we need to get a fuel scoop. And remember what I said before, you can store a fuel scoop and maybe a Guardian frameshift drive booster at a nearby station and just swap them over, and then you could go to any of these ones. But to get an extra, like, I don't know what that works out in percent, uh, not a lot. It's like seven out of 277, 3%. No, less than that. 2% money for the time of swapping things over. It's not worth it. Or you could stop off somewhere and refuel along the way. But again, you're going to lose 5 minutes. So in that time, you could have earned more by mining. So I'd stick with these ones. Now, the next important thing is it's not just where to go and the price. You need to look at this information as well. So how recent is it? So 5 hours ago, that price still held. And this is the important thing, the demand. Because what happens is you get a demand until it's been fulfilled. So if you look at this one, 1,000, the one that wanted 285 44 minutes ago, somebody could turn up with a cutter or a fleet carrier and fill that in about 20 minutes. And then when you get there, there's no demand and you've wasted your time. But these ones, 22,000, it's only going to take us a couple of minutes to get there, 55 light years, a couple of jumps. So we can be pretty sure that we're going to get that price when we get there. So that would be the one I'd go for. It's the nearest. It's a good price. Anything over 270 is a good price. And they want loads. So this will hold
Collector
up for a
limpet
while.
expired.
So you always need to do this before you sell it because it changes on a daily basis. But that 22, that was about 30 odd thousand a couple of days ago. So they, maybe doing 5,000, 10,000 a day. So it's going to last for a couple of days yet. So these ones less. So that one was 70,000, 268. So that would be the next one. It's only 67. So when this one's
Collector limpet
all
expired.
sold out, then or bought out, go to this one. So that's how to sell the stuff. So what you do, you copy the words, copy, save you misspelling them. Did I get it? I think I did. And then you go to your galaxy map and Control V, and by magic, it appears in there. Boom. And the first time you do it, you won't have the data on it, but I've been there before, so I've got it. And it was this one. Right, here we are at Ross Station. So let's have a look, see what we get. So osmium, 1.8 million. So we got a price of 230. So not that fantastic, but okay.
Incoming message.
And now, if you looked at the platinum, it did have 72, but once I cleared the space in the cargo from the osmium, those 6 tons that are in the refinery jumped into the cargo again. So if you just rewind the tape, you have a look. When we arrived, we had 72, and as soon as I sold the osmium, that increased to 78. So that's giving us 21 million. So what do we get? We got about 23 million altogether.
Incoming message.
And because I sold the stuff there, I've probably become friendly with the local faction now. So all you do now is before you go back, don't forget, get your limpets, restock 70 limpets. This was only 3 jumps, so and that was full of cargo, so it won't make any difference going back. So I'll take 70 limpets again. It's probably more than I need, but they cost 25 credits. It's nothing compared with how much we're earning. So what you do now, you do that for a few trips. What is it? Let me just have a quick look at the Python. Is that it? Python. The basic. Oh no, that's the deluxe one. That's type 6. Well, the cost would be the same anyway. So the Python, 93 million. So what's that? Four trips in a T6, and then you get your Python, and I'll show you how to outfit that and do that in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's to start off for mining. Don't use any other ship than a T6 if you haven't done mining before and you're at the beginning of the game. Obviously, got more money, you can go straight to the Python. So uh, what you would do is look at the loadout in the next video for the Python, and then come back to this T6 one and learn how to use it. The technique is identical. Right, so hopefully I'll see you in the second one after you become an expert using the T6. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any comments or questions, post them in the comments. If you've got any ideas how to do it better, post them as well, and we can discuss those. And if I always try them, and if they work, then I either pin the comments or put them in a future one. So we all learn from each other. Nobody's an expert. I'm number 3 on Inara in mining, so I've done more than just about anybody else apart from 2 guys, and shortly I'm going to be number 2. There's some theory that number 1's been cheating, but that's another story. So yeah, I do know a lot about mining without being big-headed, but you still don't know everything. I learn new stuff every day, and then when I do, I pass it on to you guys so that you can use it as well. That's my only aim. I don't do this for money; just do it to help you. So I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed that.